Hi, this is My Two Favorite Librarians. I'm Denise Corey.
I'm Chantel Taylor, and today we're talking about Freedom to Read Week.
So you printed something off about Freedom to Read Week. Are you going to tell us about it?
Yes, so Freedom to Read Week is February 24th to March 2nd, and I think it changes from year to year. It's not the same dates every year. So Freedom to Read Week is an annual event that encourages Canadians to think about and reaffirm their commitment to intellectual freedom, which is guaranteed under the Charter of Rights and Freedoms.
I'd like to point out that she's holding that piece of paper way far back from her face, so I think she needs progressives.
I think it's just so I can see over the microphone.
Yeah, sure. So Freedom to Read Week is, to me, really fascinating because there are books that are banned or challenged in different places, and half the time I don't even understand why. You have a favorite. You wanted to talk about your favorite.
Well, my favorite banned book, and I printed off the article, which I believe I found in Time magazine. So in April 29th, 2014, the Toronto Public Library received a complaint about the Dr. Seuss classic Hop on Pop. So I'm going to read from the article.
And it is from Time magazine.
Encourages children to use violence against their fathers. The traumatized complainant not only asked libraries to pull the book from its collection, but to issue a formal apology to Fathers of Toronto and pay for damages resulting from the book.
Hop on Pop.
So, Hop on Pop was published in 1963, and it's like a Dr. Seuss classic, and it's basically about like these, I mean, it's not real people, it's little Dr. Seuss characters that are like hopping on their dad's stomach.
Yeah, but
apparently it's traumatizing to some people. We should have said trigger warning.
Do not actually hop on your pop
without permission.
It's all about consent.
Now, we're making fun of Hop on Pop, but freedom to read is a real...
It is a real thing, and I do understand that there are certain books that you don't want to read or you don't like, but that doesn't necessarily mean that other people don't want to read them or shouldn't be exposed to them. So the real point is that people can be exposed to a variety of ideas and just
points of view.
Yeah, like it's important that everything be out there, because something that offends me will not offend somebody else. And yeah, there are lots of offensive things in the library, and I like it that way.
So I have another article from from Edmonton Public Library, 7 books you never knew were banned. And this is from February 8th, 2018.
I love this list. I was flipping through it with Chantel earlier, and I read almost every single one of these books, and it's like, ooh, I like those ones.
The Giver by Lois Lowry.
I love that book.
Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck.
I mean, that's a classic. Of Mice and Men. It's depressing.
And it actually says here that is a contender for one of the most challenged books of all time. Probably American.
Yeah,
but nonetheless coming out. The Golden Compass by Philip Pullman.
I love the Dark Materials series. The whole series is excellent.
Lady Chatterley's Lover.
Could not read that book. Sorry.
I did read that one.
I don't think it should be banned, though.
And 2 sort of newer ones. Blankets by Craig Thompson is a graphic novel, and this one, Summer, by, how are we going to pronounce that correctly?
It's Mariko Tamaki and her sister Jillian Tamaki.
Thank you very much.
They did a graphic novel together, and it's about these 2 young teenage girls hanging out at the cottage in the summer. And it won a Governor General's Award for illustration. It was banned in a Minnesota school library. I should point that out. So it's not banned everywhere. These bans aren't usually like wide-reaching. It's usually a specific place. They just felt that the content was inappropriate for
inclusion in libraries.
Yeah. That doesn't even say anything.
So I also have, from CBC, 11 Canadian books that have been challenged. And number 1, which is currently hot, is The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood.
Yeah, The Handmaid's Tale. I mean, that book really is speaking about the times we're about to live in. Like, I know they've made it into a TV show now, but it's dark. It's a dark book. Read it. Actually, in fact, all of the books that we've mentioned that have been banned or challenged are available to you in your public libraries in Cumberland County. Read them. Form your own opinion. Ooh, Timothy Finley, The Wars. I love Timothy Finley.
I do too. It's one of the few Canadian authors that I've read.
I've read everything he wrote. I cried when he passed away. It was very distressing to me. The Wars is great, but my favorite book by him is Famous Last Words.
I love that one too. That's
It's
a really...
so good.
Yep. I couldn't finish The Wars because I wanted to leave that boy alive. I knew he was going to die at the end, and I was like, no, I'm leaving him.
Can't do it. Essex County by Jeff Lemire. This is another graphic novel. It's primarily about growing up in rural Ontario. There's a lot of hockey stuff in it. So according to the Freedom to Read, which has their own website, check it out. They have a lot of interesting stuff. It was challenged for offensive language. Rural hockey players saying the F word? What a shock.
Yeah. Any Canadian saying?
So, yeah, I encourage you, pick those books up, see how you feel about them. What do you think? Should they, well, I don't believe in banning anything, but, it's important that people have opinions.
We also don't censor. I think it's important for people to realize that the library doesn't censor what people... I had a kid come up to me the other day when I was on the desk, and he said, my mom wants to know if I'm allowed to take these out. And I gave him his library card and said, it says right on the back that your mom has to tell you if you can take these books out. And it was like The Walking Dead. And I was like, yeah, I'll let you take those out.
Yep. It's important, too, that parents do look at what their kids are reading.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're the person who makes the decision about what their child can or cannot read. I don't make that decision. My mom let me read whatever I wanted. I'm sure I read things that were way above my comprehension.
How old were you when you read your first Stephen King?
11 or 12. Yeah. But, my brother was older, and my mom and my brother are both big, horror readers. Well, Mom's more mystery now. And so that stuff was around the house, so that's what I picked up to read.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm sure I didn't get half of what was happening. But I did understand the language.
Yeah.
I just didn't understand what the concepts were.
The illusions of the...
Yeah. Speaking of which, what are you reading right now?
So I'm currently reading Tycoon by Joanna Shoup.
I bet it's a romance.
It is. It is a novella that sets up the Knickerbocker Club series. And
that sounds very 1920s.
Yes. So Joanna Shoup writes a lot of Gilded Age romance.
Okay.
And so basically our heroine has witnessed a crime, and she's trying to get, because, in that era, everyone was corrupt and you would just disappear. And so she's on the run. She tries to get on a train, and she picks a random guy and says, "You're my husband now. Please take me on the train." And so that's basically where I've gotten to. I've only gotten a couple of where he's been like, "Oh, she's beautiful. Oh, blah, blah, blah." So they're
insta love.
Yeah. And of course, he's like the head of a bank, and he's like really wealthy.
Of course. Because, if you're going to pick some random guy.
Pick well.
Yeah.
Don't pick the serial killer. Pick the bank. Well, I don't know that the bank manager might be the serial killer, but,
Let's hope not.
Yeah, not in this book it isn't. But this is my first Joanna Shoup. I just heard an interview with her, and she's very, very funny. So,
good.
Yeah.
I'm reading Educated by Tara Westover. And it's been on the bestsellers list for a bit now. It's a nonfiction book. It's a memoir. She grows up in Utah. Very Mormon family. Very, very Mormon family. They go to church and talk about how the other Mormons at church are not Mormon enough. They don't believe in doctors. They never sent her to school. They supposedly homeschooled her, but that didn't happen. And there's a lot of family dysfunction there. Yeah, it's
you were
very
saying
dysfunctional.
It was a lot like The Glass Castle, like a very similar.
It reminded me of The Glass Castle in that I wanted to yell at her parents almost incessantly through the book. It's like, why are you putting your child in that situation? So I'm about halfway through right now. So we'll see. She has gone to university, or she's in university. So I don't know if she finishes. I assume so.
Okay, interesting.
It's a good book. It's frustrating because it's like, why? Anyway, yeah. So what's on at the library?
So we're kind of winding down our February programs. We're kind of in our lull pre-March break, which
March
we're
break
going to talk about next.
The craziness.
But Evil Genius is happening at the Amherst Library. This is the last one, I think, for February, and we'll be starting up again in April.
And I want to talk about a program that we're doing with the Atlantic Publishers Marketing Association.
Do I know about this?
No. So you're finding out now too. In the month of March, each week, we have a book that will be available on Overdrive, which is our downloadable audiobook and ebook platform. And it will be available for anyone to download that week. So usually what happens is we only own one copy of the book. So if a person borrows it, another person
So there'll be no holds for that book during that week.
You can everyone will be able to. So the first week is going to be Doug Knockwood, Mi'kmaq Elder, and these are all local Atlantic Canadian books. So that's March 4th to the 10th, March 11th to the 17th. You can all download The Greatest Hits of Wanda Janes. That's a fictional book by a Newfoundland author, which I read and I talked about before and I enjoyed. March 18th to the 24th, they're going to have Louisburg or Bust, Surfer's Wild Ride Down Nova Scotia's Drowned Coast. I haven't read that one yet. I'm really interested.
Sounds interesting.
I'm not even a surfer. And then for the last week of March, from the 25th to the 31st, they will have unlimited downloads on Policing Black Lives, State Violence in Canada from Slavery to the Present.
Which I read during the summer.
Did you?
Yeah, I did read.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I skimmed it just to get an idea of what it was about. I mean, it looks pretty academic, but it looks really
There were some really
fascinating.
interesting things. I think we look out at the United States and we see things that are happening here, and we don't necessarily know of the same things that are happening in Canada. Mm-hmm. Can you name 4 Black men that have been shot by police in Canada? Because I bet you could name 4 American.
And I can't, but I can think of a couple of instances, but I don't know their names.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah.
So these books will be available in March, one each week for unlimited downloads. So
Nice. Interesting. Okay.
yeah. So thanks to the Atlantic Publishers Marketing Association, APMA.
Oh, nice. Okay.
All right. So next week we are talking about
March break.
March break.
Yep.
March break is coming.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you next week.
Bye.